It's been a long month, guys. I am now 33 weeks on my Invisaligns and my second set of impressions. So I'm very happy about that. So I won't be wearing my Invisaligns for about another week or two until I get some more. Neural decided to update while I was taking my ADAs for my mental health. As many of y'all know, or a few of y'all know, is that I deal with some depression and everything. So I decided to take some time off after playing Tell Me More, or Tell Me Why, which is a really great game. I haven't been able to see any of the comments on it, but let's see what New World has to offer. So, starting in right after I did my last stream, they came out with a spring update. So, we're looking at Windsward. All the flowers are blooming, and I appreciate it because I ain't sneezing about them. So this is, I think, facing away from the fort. We got some bison. We have the Shattered Obelisk, I'm pretty sure is what that's called, along with, I don't remember what that one's called, but I'll figure it out. And then we have the Great Lake right outside of Fort Windsward. This was all shared on their Twitter. So, they said, enjoy these screenies of Windsward to jumpstart those seasonal allergies. Thank you so much, so much New World, for that. I really did need that. The next thing that they said was that they have improved questing and more. So, this is our first look at the voiceovers, I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
It's always a treat to see a new face. Whether you are new to Eternum or simply from another settlement, you are welcome to First Light.
It's almost a shame. I think the bears were about to accept me. Maybe.
Well, what do you think of our new camp? Not much to look at yet, but as Plato says, the beginning is the most important part of the work. Though, this fort seems familiar somehow. Have I been here before?
I don't know, Giannis. Have we been here before? We have had so many updates about them doing some voiceovers and everything, but them being able to give us different kinds of voiceovers, like Giannis and like Overseer Oaks and a few of the other ones, it was really, really interesting. And then we had the update of the inventory. So it looks like our character is actually facing us when we could look into our inventory. I'm wondering when we are able to look at the inventory, if we are not able to be hit by the mobs. Because that was my major issue. But look, oh. Uh-oh. Looks like someone's gotten in on a Zoom meeting. Looks like they did some updates with the Zoom backgrounds that everybody has been having to deal with. So it looks like we have a picture of an internal of a house. So this is the first time that we've ever been able to see the inside of a house other than from preview. It looks like we have a doggo of some sort. I'm not sure if that would be a mystical creature or if it would just be a doggo. But I do know that if you ordered the deluxe version, you get a pet mastiff, I think. And I think that is maybe what that is. I'm not sure. We'll take another look. And then they said that as part of the new changes to Quest thing, you might cross paths with the Ezra of Forge Master. So, Ezra has had a reskin, it looks like. Let's see. Oh! Or this might be a... Oh! We have a tall skeleton. It looks like it might be near the Shattered Abyss in Windsward. So, if this is actually part of Windsward, we might have... Ooh, and it looks like he may be a mini-boss. And it looks like it's taking a lot of people to take care of him. So he only dropped a common health potion. Thank you. Thank you, Ezra. Your service is much not needed if it's just a health potion. And then on March the 30th, they had a, the EU servers opened up for alpha testing. So those of you who are interested in doing any kind of testing for New World, it is under NDA, so you cannot talk about it. But you can, go and sign up on their website. It is including EU servers. So looks like they have had some people joining EU servers, and looks like it might be a little bit of a hint to a expedition here. Let's see. Take a deeper look and explore our vision behind the expeditions in New World. So they did hint about expeditions prior with the launch of Alpha on EU servers. So here is a first look at expeditions. We are actually going to be going and looking at all the news. Wait a minute. Are we actually going into the Shattered Abyss? Or is this the Amari expedition that everybody's been talking about? Oh! Nice. And then on April the 6th, they started, they started tweeting about something ice related. Oh. Yes, they needed those retweets to be able to tell us what was in that ice. So, it looks like we actually met that goal of 200 retweets. And looks like there's a hand in it. I think it might have been the Ice Gauntlet, but they needed our help in retweeting again. So they were asking us to continue to retweet. So, and the news of the Ice Gauntlet. So it looks like it either replaces the gloves or armory, but I don't think it would since it is part of a weapon. But I'm wondering if there are some mobs that are not able to, that are immune to the Ice Gauntlet. And then we had the World Art Day with the Mona Bella. It looks like corruption has unfortunately set in on World Art Day. That is a very, very nice picture though. And then, just a few days ago, they said, dive deep into our vision for PvP and the new playable modes in this month's alpha update. So they did do another alpha update. I am very, very late on all these updates. But let's go ahead and see what these alpha updates are all about with the PvP. So it says claim the control point. And it looks like you have a group. I guess the group could vary, I'm not sure. But it looks like they have a group of 3. And they're trying to claim the control point. But it looks like that they are inside of a fort of some sort. We're going to find out more about this via their information. And then they announce on the 20th the Ice Gauntlet. So, let's go ahead and go back in time and see about all of these updates. On the 23rd of March, they did an update on the quest designs. Quest designs are a background of New World narrative experiences. Someone said that I need to make it a little bit zoomed in. There you go, guys. I'm sorry. So, with that said, their vision has 4 key pillars for the quest. They want to be able to give players an identity and a purpose in Eternum while learning how to investigate New World's core systems and empowering them to experience and discover which skills, activities, and gear best fit their playstyle. I wanted to say playability. And then they want to immerse players in Eternum. So the main story quest line, or MSQ as everybody is saying here on New World, guides players through each of the island's regions and offers opportunities to explore the lore of Eternum through uncovering ancient secrets, learning about the enemy groups that occupy the land, and meeting powerful friends and enemies as you learn that not all is as it seems on the surface of this new and mystical world. So they did hint that you will meet new powerful friends and enemies. What is with these enemies? We have Adriana Thurin here, who looks like she might be in the middle of a jungle of some sort. And then their third pillar is to provide consistent activities for players. This was another thing that they have been working on in the past. From the moment a new player washes up on shore through their journey to level 60 and in-game content, players should always have an active objective to complete in a series of ongoing story-driven quests as they strive to make this mark on Eternum. So they want you to be able to have as much possibilities as you can imagine. And the last thing that they wanted to do was highlight special moments and celebrate progression. In the past, they have not really celebrated much of a progression in the characters themselves. So taking players to distant areas and points of interest across the land, adding climactic moments to unique quests anchored in lore and unlocking both important items and the secrets of Eternum are all key to designing and updating the main story quest line. So, they want us to be able to enjoy the progression and celebrate it with them. So what was their most recent changes back in March, the end of March? It was a quest variety and a new objective. And with that, they replaced generic looting objectives with new interactable items tailored to a specific quest. So, like, let's say that you went on a questing mission in Dayspring Mills to go and get some barley. Instead of going and finding a chest with barley, you may have to go actually find the barley plant. And this should help increase quest variety along with creating unique experiences both within both the main story quest line and the many side quests that are found throughout Eternum. I really want to say Atrium. Their second one was improving starting experiences. Ooh, it's a video.
It's always a treat to see a new face. Whether you are new to Eternum or simply from another settlement, you are welcome to First Light.
So it looks like that they have
almost a
added
shame.
the
The bears were about
voiceovers.
to
In the
accept
last
me.
update that I did,
Maybe.
they said
Well,
that they would add some
what do you think of our
voiceovers,
new
and we
camp?
did not experience
Not
any of
much
the
to look at
voiceovers.
yet,
But
as Plato
it
says,
looks like that there
the
are the many,
beginning
many
is the
voiceovers
most
that people
important
have
part of
here.
the work.
Whether they be more of a
This
European
fort
accent
seems
or more of a
familiar
domestic
somehow.
accent.
Have I been here before?
I don't know, Giannis. Have you been there before? So they added voiceovers and improved the dialogue. And they also introduced new characters, regions, and enemies. So with the new characters, regions, and enemies, they added the Epson Scale Reach, they added the Reekwater, and they also added the Siren Queen and the Empress, if you remember from my last update. They added quests for unique weapons and armor. So the last time that we talked, that there have been legendary and rare armor sets that were added to the game. They did not give us any kind of details during that time, but now they have, and said it add new quests starting at level 40 that will guide players on a journey to craft and obtain those rare armor sets and the legendary weapons that we talked about earlier. So the future look was that they continue to build out the quest line by adding narrative-driven climactic events through level 60. So, with the last update, they only had it through level 40, is from what I understood. So now they want it to be able to go through all the way to the end game material. And they want to introduce new enemies, unique objectives to continue to improve quest variety, and use stories for the players to experience on their quest to learn the secrets of Eternum. There are so many secrets, so please continue to keep updated on the social channels and on their website for the development and improvements to the game. That was the first one. So, the second one was that they introduced expeditions. So, 5-player instances dungeons that would take players to the darkest corners of Eternum. There you party with Vice Dire Threats, learning more about the source of corruption, expose the angry Earth, ulterior motives, and reveal the deeper menace behind the lost, and delve into the secrets of the ancient guardians. So, with the expeditions, it looks like you really delve into all the different characteristics that New World has to offer. You delve into the corruption, you delve into the angry Earth, and you delve into the lost and the ancient guardians from what we need to know. The ancient guardians are the ones that have, are those that mainly deal with the ancient ruins. The angry Earth is all those that deal with the Earth in general. And the lost and the corrupted are those that battle against each other, from what we understand. With the release of the Amari Expedition and the Garden of Genesis. So, we have 2 different expeditions right there that they had. And the expeditions have 3 main pillars. Attain social experiences. The expeditions require a group of 3 to 5 players for the completion, and we actively balance expedition against 5 players of the recommended level. So if we remember back in the Amari Expedition, I was pretty sure was level 25, I think is what they had quoted out. And I'm guessing the Garden of Genesis would be maybe a level 50 or 60. But it looks like they go more into detail right below. So it involves using teamwork to overcome challenges, solve puzzles, and battle monstrous bosses. So they do have bosses during these expeditions. They do have new PvE experiences, the mechanics of bosses, and the special loot unique to expeditions. So whatever you can find in these expeditions, you cannot find anywhere else. They provide a change of pace from the other activities that you can experience outside in the open world. And then the last thing is the unique and engaging. Each expedition tells its own story and has a unique experience. They wanted to reward players putting in effort and taking part in each expedition with pieces of loot, gear unique to that experience, and incentives exploring and conquering the various expeditions spread throughout Eternum. So instead of just increasing the enemy difficulty in successive expeditions, the mechanics and puzzles are going to vary. I'm wondering if they are going to vary because based on the levels of the players that choose to go in. For example, the AI sets up for bosses, the mini bosses, and will differ, and loot tables will be unique for each expedition. They delved a little bit more into the Amari expedition. It is a dig site just west of the Amari Temple. That's where we were seeing was the Amari Temple, where the famed archaeologist Simon Gray and his team have been missing for some time. Now, we do remember back that Barkmedes was looking for Simon Gray, but we never found out where Simon Gray was until after Barkmedes tweeted out that his owner was lost. It's up to the players to venture into the depths of this troubled dig site to uncover the fate and discover what happened to the ancient technology they unearthed. With a level 25 requirement, Amari Expedition is meant to be an introductory experience to expeditions, and players will find the mechanics of the puzzles, difficulty, and AI are scaled accordingly. The Garden of Genesis. The Garden of Genesis is located in Eden Grove, and Specialist Elwood has discovered a garden where the Angry Earth are born. Oh no! So that is the epicenter of the Angry Earth, is the Garden of Genesis. Like the rest of Eden Grove, the garden has been infected with a mysterious blight, and if allowed to spread, the blight will continue to leach out of the garden and threaten the inhabitants of Eternum. We don't want that. So players must face the garden's protectors in order to penetrate the nursery's primordial heart, purge the blight, and bring the garden's restoration. And begin the garden's restoration. So it looks like we have the Angry Earth here against 3 characters. And this is an in-game expedition intended for level 60. It will serve as a more challenging experience with the higher level expeditions. And players can expect to solve different types of puzzles, fighting various AIs and more, or even having more challenging experiences. With the looking ahead, they have released the Amari Expedition and the Garden of Genesis Expedition in alpha. Data from those will be feedback from the testers themselves and will be studied closely. Tuning will be done to the systems as we introduce more expeditions to New World. So it looks like not only just those 2 expeditions are being built, there are multiple expeditions. So I'm wondering if there is going to be an expedition after every 10 or 15 levels in New World, which would be great because not only would it allow those that have never done any expeditions in prior games to be able to experience an expedition at the very first part of New World. So, the update back on the 13th was a PvP. So, a lot of players have been saying that there was not enough PvP action in New World, and that they were turning it into a player versus enemy. So the devs had listened to those and said that there are new PvP goals. They coexist and complement the unique opportunities and activities. And there are also new features. So this is the first time that we have ever heard that there are PvP features. You have faction control points. You can participate in this by the territory forts require players to be PvP flagged in order to enter them. The forts will have a control point which players will battle to claim. If a faction has more players inside the control point than any other faction, that faction will begin to slowly capture the control point. The more players that faction has inside the control point, the faster they will capture it. The status of each fort will be visible on the world map so everyone can see which faction has claimed forts and which forts are currently being contested. When rival factions are assaulting a control point, a regional-wide message will alert players that the location is being contested. So it looks like that they will send you a message via in-game that that fort is having an issue and needs resolving. And then they have the control points will be available to contest immediately upon another company claiming that territory. So it looks like they are trying to take a war and an outpost rush that they had already told us about many months ago. The wars are for those at levels 50 and outpost rushes for those levels 60. But apparently the PvP for the territory forts is at any level that you can imagine after level 10, after you pick a faction. Oh, the rewards. So the faction control point rewards are about long-term value. Controlling specific locations to earn specific buffs to that location don't grant immediate rewards, but instead provide faction members with a 5% increase to experience and gain, and 20% increase to influence gain within that territory. Apparently that can be put on any territory or any fort. Huh. That might make me want to look into doing a PvP in the future. If I can get a 5% experience gain and a 5% influence gain in a territory. Wow. Additionally, each fort location has a unique global buff to their faction, such as decreasing a specific tax, decreasing Azal's cost for fast travel. We can find the remaining of it in the patch notes for April. And then looking forward, they'll monitor the activity of each of the control points for data and further tune the mechanics and the rewards. So that's not all that they're going to do. The territory control incentives is a big part of New World experience and inclusion of territory control incentives. Our goal is to entice more players to take part in claiming and protecting their territory by making the rewards of settlement ownership more appealing. And then they talked a little bit more about Outpost Rush. There was a little bit of a talk of Outpost Rush last year, and last time that I did my stream, and that is a 20 versus 20 battle with a level 60 requirement. You can either do it solo or as a group of up to 5. So apparently the group levels are limited to 5 in New World. I would like to see it a little bit more than 5, because I do understand 5 people can only do an expedition at one time. However, if we do have some friends in game and we want to be able to only deal with them in a group, I would love to be able to deal with at least 10, if not 15 people in a group. But however, New World devs have limited it to 5. And I can understand why, because it can probably bring down the system. So how do you participate in Outpost Rush? There are 2 forts of 3 outposts. You have the Luna, the Sol, and Astrara. Each outpost can be captured by standing inside its capture point. So you only have to stand inside the capture point. You gain points for holding outposts and killing enemy players. Outpost grants 1 point per every 30 seconds, and PvP kills are worth 1 point. The first team to reach 1,000 points wins. So, you're telling me I could just sit there and stand the whole time during an Outpost Rush. Gather and infuse resources. Resources can reinforce your outpost, so grab what you can find. Each outpost has the following structures in place by default, which can be used by the controlling team: an armory, a storage sheds. And you are able to spend battle tokens. Battle tokens are... where are battle tokens? Okay, we'll find out about battle tokens. Once the outpost is captured, a team can gather Azoth-infused material to build and upgrade the following structures: the gates, the protect wardens, prevent capture of the outpost. Different types of siege weapons can be built, and a command post will provide the team with increased damage, armor, and a steady stream of battle tokens. Objectives. There are several located in the map. You have the Baroness Haid. Spawns every 10 minutes. So, this can go like forever. Oh no. Teams who dealt the killing blow will gain a strong buff that increases their health regen and defense for the next 3 minutes. At that same time, the enemy score will be frozen, preventing them from gaining any points for the next 3 minutes. Got it. Go find Baroness Haid. Then you have the Corrupted Portal. The Corrupted Portal is a portal guarded by corrupted creatures. Teams can deposit Azoth Essence into the portal, and when a single team has committed 500 Azoth Essences, it activates, and the player that made the final deposit is granted an item to summon a powerful ally. But who? And then the summoning circles are stone platforms found in various key locations around the map. There are players who have acquired a summoning icon can summon a mysterious ally who will defend the location from enemy players. Cool. Then you have a turret emplacement. There are defenses that can be found at each fort and the Austria and Luna outpost. But not the Sol? Right? Yeah, Austria and Luna, but not Sol. And they understand the importance of meaningful and rewarding PvP to our players who love that gameplay. We'll continue to collect data and feedback on existing PvP features and content from our alpha testers. We also have plans to grow our PvP offerings to our post-launch roadmap. After all, launch is just beginning. Yes, launch is just right around the corner. August the 21st. Thank you so much, New World devs. So, the biggest update as of today is the Icebound update. The Ice Gauntlet. Just look at that. And this was on the 20th. Like I said, just a few days ago, 4 days ago, they announced the Ice Gauntlet. The weapon that harnesses the elemental power of ice The attack scales off of intelligence, so adventurers will be able to progress through 2 mastery trees, allowing the players to manipulate ice magic in different ways. You have the Ice Tempest and you have the Ice Conjurer weapon mastery trees. The Tempest focuses on damage and area denial. The Conjurer weapon mastery tree focuses on crowd control, protection, and deployable ice paladins that fight alongside the player, improving their power and efficiency. And of course you have the legendary quest for the Ice Gauntlet. Now, a little birdie did tell me that you can get an Ice Gauntlet at the very, very, very beginning of the game. You don't have to be level 60, but you have to be level 60 in order to get this legendary quest, or any other legendary quest or armory quest that they do have. Players go through an epic quest for the legendary Ice Gauntlet Remlish. Level 60 adventurers have to speak with Ranger Heatley in Great Cleave to begin the quest. They will venture on a quest to find a mysterious artifact that holds the power of winter in the palm of their hands. And there it is in action. Then they included the faction control points. So this is a little bit more about the PvP actions. We already went over a little bit of it, but the control points will be activated 60 minutes after a war or invasion is completed. So they cannot be... So the control points are deactivated once a war or invasion are declared. So the unique global buffs that we were talking about earlier. If you control First Light, you have reduced fast travel weight costs by 5 Azoth per 10 weight down to 1 Azoth per 10 weight. So let's say that you're wanting to go from, like, I don't know, Great Cleave up on the north end to First Light. It would be amazing to only have to deal with 20 Azoth, then 300 Azoth that you would normally have to deal with. In Monarch Bluffs, it reduces the fast travel distance cost. Okay, so 5 Azoth per 100 meters down to 1 Azoth per 100 meters. So in Windsward, you would have increased volumes of items gained when gathering by 5%. In Everfall, it reduces your trading tax by 5%. And in Brightwood, it reduces your housing tax by 5%. Oh, I might want to buy a house in Brightwood. Then you have Cutlass Keys, which reduces the base Azoth cost of fast travel by 50%. Ooh, that might be a good one. Weaver's Fin increases coins, experience, territory standing, and faction tokens from faction missions by 5%. And then you have Restless Shores, which also increases coins, experiences, faction tokens from corrupted breaches by 5%. Then you have the Morningdale, which increases coins and experience rewards from expeditions by 5% for controlling factions. So, are we going to have an expedition in Morningdale? Because we already have an expedition in Windsward, and we have an expedition in Epskin-Scale Reach. Then you have Epskin-Scale Reach, reduces refined taxes by 5%, and Reekwater reduces crafting taxes by 5%. Then you have the new expedition, Lazarus Instrumentality. Lectus Fulvis in Reekwater wants to seek a local threat neutralized. probably because they said his name wrong. The adventure of the Lazarus Instrumentality Expedition and combat the Behemoth Chartis. Players must venture into the secret site that may hold the key to the origins of the ancient guardians to vanquish this monstrous threat. But where is this monstrous threat? It doesn't say. The boss encounters, you have Celia, a creature... you have Celia, a creature utilizing both lethal weaponry and destructive magics. Her dual nature will test the worth of those seeking to learn the ancient secrets. Well, I failed. Then you have Chartis. The colossal ancient construct stands watch over the Lazarus well, granting eternal power or swift destruction to those who awaken him. And then you have pictures. Ooh. I think that's Chartis. Or do you think it's Celia? It looks like Amari. Then you have another expedition called Dynasty Shipyards. That's an Epson scale reach because of a shipyard. Remember, the Empress of Epson scale is building a fleet of warships. She's trying to get away. The fleet and the Empress must be defeated for the safety of Eternum and the world. She's going to tell the world about Eternum. We don't want her to. You have the boss encounters of Isabella's pets. Ooh, I think we found where Isabella is. You have Joven and Oro. Obediently wait for Isabella's command and their next meal. Then you have Zhao Tang. Elegant, graceful, and brimming with rage. The Empress in Exile commands an army loyal beyond death and wields immense corruption energies to exact her vengeance. So Isabella, or is it Zhao? We don't know. Then we have some new features. We have achievements. Yes. The achievements are a way of keeping track of and rewarding various players for their actions. I've been wanting this so bad. As players perform these actions enough times, the related achievements is completed automatically. With the April release, there are over 400 achievements in the game, with more to follow. How many achievements are we going to have, friends? I don't know. I want 1,000 or more. Players can examine all the achievements at any time by clicking on the Achievements tab in the character screen. Yes, that is a new tab in the character screen because you have your bio, you have your attributes, you have your weapon mastery tree, you have your trading skills, I think, and now achievements. So you have 5 tabs. While all achievements are listed, including for brand new players, some are temporarily hidden behind a hint. The UI also has a summary of how far the players have come to completing the different achievements and displaying listings of all achievements. When any achievement is 75% complete, a player will receive a UI alert that the achievement is near completion. Like, hey, you've almost done this, or hey, you've started this. When an achievement reaches 100% completion, a player will get a UI alert celebrating their completed achievement. Like, hey, you completed this achievement. Achievements are completed at the account level, but progression towards completion is tied to an individual characters. As such, progression is not shared between characters. Each character can try to complete each achievement, but only one actually will win. Once an achievement is completed, it is completed for all of the characters. Please note, many of the achievements have lower requirements in this release than they are intended for the game's launch. This is to make them easier to complete during alpha testing. Boo! Boo! Then you have a more general. They added voiceover lip sync to quest givers in the main story quest line. Ooh. So you mean their lips were out of sync? We can't have lips out of sync when you are voiceovering. Then we have PvP missions and PvE faction missions. So they've introduced a new style of PvP missions. And PvE faction missions are now multi-step across all territories except for Shattered Mountain, Great Cleave, and Eden Grove. Then you have the territory control incentives that we've already talked about. And progression updates. So we have updated their Milestone Rewards. If everybody remembers back on during preview, we had Milestone Rewards. If you looked at your attributes and you looked at the very bottom right hand corner, you had a milestone. With some new rewards for leveling and updated the levels at which some current rewards are unlocked. The presentation of these milestone rewards have also been updated for clarity. Apparently they weren't very clear earlier. Players can access milestone rewards from the View Leveling Rewards button on the attribute screen. They added a Tier 2 and Tier 3 Azal staffs that unlock through main story quest lines at level 30 and level 40 respectively. So that means that you have to update your Azal staff in order to deal with these corruption breaches. So a Tier 1 Azal staff, I'm guessing that is what you get from the main story quest line, can close corruption breaches up to level 25. A Tier 2 Azal staff can close corruption breaches up to level 35. And a Tier 3 Azal staff can close corruption breaches up to level 65. Wow. So we've only been hearing level 60. There's a 65. Players can now unlock different tiers of their camps at levels 5, 15, 25, 40, and 55 for Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 through specific quests in the world. And then the fourth consumable slot now unlocks at level 25 instead of level 45. And then a player's first house is now unlocked at level 15, second house at level 35, and third house at level 55, down from 20, 40, and 60 previously. So apparently they're wanting to make it a lot easier for people to be able to get a fourth consumable lot, get their camps updated, and also get their houses, because it was very hard to first get your house. But they've added difficulty to getting the Azal staffs with having to have the different levels. Interesting. Loot and gear have been updated. So they removed name shields from the faction shops and replaced them with faction specific shields. Never knew that. The faction Ice Gauntlets are now available in the faction shop. So apparently they are faction specific if you go to the faction shop. They continue to add more visual variety to the armor sets and added items to new expeditions. Well, we've already heard that they have Amari, they've got Garda Genesis, they now have Destiny, Shipyard, and Lazarus Instrumentality. So they have 4 expeditions right now. I'm wanting to know where those other 2, what requirements those other 2 are. I'm pretty sure they're probably level 60. But we'll find out. And then they increase the gear score that can drop from creatures of a particular level, which should slightly increase the likelihood of players getting more desirable gear score on their drops as they level their character and fight tougher enemies. And they added a unique set of Outpost Reach specific named armor and weapons that appear as rare drops from the Outpost Rush rewards chest. Then they added some gear perks. And I'm going to let you guys read this. And they did more of the crafting and gathering. Expeditions now include expedition exclusive resources in the rare in the drop tables. Regular expedition mob drops 1 resource type, while bosses drop a different resource. They updated the jewelry crafting recipes, now requiring jewelry crafting components. And the major change that they did was saltpeter has replaced fire moss as the main ingredient in gunpowder. So saltpeter can be found in many caves throughout Eternum. And the major update, arrows and cartridges are now stacked to 500 instead of 250. So you have double the ammo. The combat updates. This has been an ongoing thing, as we can see. Ranged attacks can now be fired through non-enemy players. Now ranged players only need to worry about hitting the enemy and not firing around their allies or frenemies. How many times have I ever hit somebody? I don't know. You can probably name a couple in the preview. Enemy AI is an ongoing thing. They've continued to tune and refine the existing AI combat experience. This release, we've updated an additional set of AI. The new mechanics of a large enemy stagger. So, they introduced some large enemies. The Azara of Forgemaster was one of them. Players can knock certain large characters into a long, highly punishable reaction by fully depleting their stamina bar. I think each enemy has a stamina bar, but I am not sure. Then they did the attribute threshold bonuses. Now, these are the attributes that you find under the attribute tab. You have strength, you have dexterity, you have intelligence, you have focus, you have constitution. Constitution mainly deals with your health. Focus mainly deals with mana. Intelligence helps a lot with like the spells and the magic part. Dexterity is mainly for critical hitting. And then you have strength for how much you can actually do for damage. Now, each of these points, you have bonuses are rewarded for every 50 points that you invest in a single attribute. They have listed each attribute from 50 to 300 for each. So, strength weapons are mainly for the melee weapons. The dexterity is mainly for the critical hitters, and the backstab and headshot. And intelligence is for light and heavy magic attacks. But, as you can see, some of these are for mining and encumbrance and mining. For strength, for dexterity, you have skinning and a guaranteed critical hit after a dodge roll. Your girl ain't gonna do a dodge roll. Then you have intelligence, which is harvesting speed and reduction in exhaust travel. And then focus, you have fishing and reduction in fast travel. And then in constitution, you have logging and A 25% chance to chop down a tree in a single swing. That would really up the logging skill. Then you have the balance. So they did a little bit more balance with the weapons. They did a little bit more with the hatchet, the musket, the fire staff, the bow, and the warhammer. And they did an update on the UI and UX. So, secure player-to-player trading. So, this allows players to initiate a secure and synchronous trade of coin and up to 5 items at once with another player. Apparently, people were wanting to do trading without the trading post. To trade with another player, use a social interaction menu through chat or the social menu. Players must be within 2 meters of each other in order to initiate the trade. There is a lock-in step and a confirm step as a countermeasure to trading snips. So, as you can see with the trading, you are sending this player this. You are receiving this from this player with this player. Looks like a level 60. I am right. It's a level 60 and a level 60. Oh, okay. Then you have an inventory update. You can now lock your favorite items, which will add a little padlock to them, meaning that they cannot be salvaged at any time unless you undo that padlock. Yes. You can now salvage your crafting batches in comfort and security. Players can now see their average gear score in the stat area at the bottom of the screen. Average gear score is going to be right there in the bottom of the screen, right above your strength, dexterity, intelligence, focus, constitution, physical, and elemental gear scores. And then you have a UI visual update. Camera depth, field of view. Made an update to the foreground elements like the character when applying depth of field effect to blur the background. Now the outlines of the characters on inventory and NPC conversation screens are crisp and sharp. Visual updates passed for Expedition UIs is complete, including a celebration banner on defeating the final boss. Some elements such as the map tool tips are still coming to future releases. And then a UI update for Outpost Rush are complete, and additional visual updates to level milestone banners and the lower rewards access through the attributes screen. I really want to see what those map tool tips are, cause from what I understand, they're horrible. So we have another look at the Ice Gauntlet and in its power. Buddy Skeleton, don't even try. And then it looks like a expedition part for that one. I hate long hallways. You cannot make me go down that long hallway. No. So that is the updates for New World. Everybody have a great day. Have a great night wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on the next one. Be sure to leave a like here on my Twitch and on my YouTube. Link is down below. If you have any recommendations or any questions or want to, talk a little bit more about New World, please leave it down in the comments at my YouTube channel and I'll respond back. But other than that, I will see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a great day. Bye!